Hello and welcome to the show. I'm your host, Ernest Lee. Welcome to PCC Outreach, where this show here, where it talks about Pitt Community College and all the great things that are going on there. And of course, you might want to, as always, get your pen and paper out and take notes. And because if you're listening to the show or you're seeing the show, we want to make sure that you pass the word on the great things that are going on at Pitt Community College and partners and surrounding areas, all about you, all about your future. We want to make sure that everybody knows what's going on. We have a great show for you today. So with that, I'm going to bring in today, you've probably heard her on the show before, but Dr. Farrah Ward. And Dr. Ward, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lee. Thank you for having me back.
Well, good. First of all, for those that may have not heard you in this area, tell us a little bit about Dr. Ward and what she does.
Well, hello. I am the Provost and Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs at Elizabeth City State University. I've actually been at the university for 13 years, so I can't believe it's been that long. In my role, I oversee academics, so all things academics, as well as the enrollment management functions, everything from admissions to financial aid to the registrar's office. So those are my key roles at the university, and it's a great day at ECSU.
Okay, well, we've talked here before about, as I would say, the Elizabeth City State University
Right.
and all the great things that are going on down there. But as you know, we recently talked with the chancellor. She had a lot to say about, of course, Elizabeth City State University and the partnerships that you guys have. But with your take on it, how things going with the college and with the pandemic, and how you guys are doing what you do, because apparently there are some great things going on down there since this pandemic, and we want to hear what's going on at Elizabeth City State University and the things that you guys are making happen down there.
Well, yes, I will say the fall semester was definitely not like none other that we've ever had, but we continue to thrive gratefully during this time. Our enrollment was up. We had a 13% increase in our enrollment this year, overshot 2,000 for the first time since 2014. And so we're really excited. And one of the things that is driving our enrollment is really retaining the students. Our students enjoy where they live and where they learn, and they have really returned. And that's what we want to see to make sure they're making progress. Of course, we had to make modifications to the actual course delivery. We're offering more classes we did in fall than we typically would have offered online to just try to meet the needs of our students, and others had special accommodations. But we did have over 50% of our courses, about 59% of our courses were face-to-face. And so we have markers in the classrooms to identify, and we were really able to, stay on campus the whole semester. And when there were cases, we, address those.
Okay. Now, I would with people that constantly watch the show, what I would tell them right now is, with Elizabeth City State, we hear a lot of that, but I want students kind of to be aware of things that are still going on. As we talked before, as I talked with my president here and the vice president, and of course the chancellor, one of the things I like to stress to people is that we never had to restart for the semester. We never shut down.
That's right. That's right.
We did some modifications, some
That's
changes,
right.
but we never shut down. We never had what we call a reopening, because we never closed. And with that, I guess with the students up here, and so that people understand the correlation that we have with Elizabeth City State, we still have those transfer programs, and students still can transfer. And how are you with your numbers as far as transfer and students who are still in that mode, or looking at that mode and looking at where they're trying to go from here? What's good about Elizabeth City State that they can keep doing this and use Elizabeth City State as that first choice?
Well, we value our relationship with Pitt Community College, and of course the transfer students. We've always welcomed transfer students, but our transfer enrollment has more than doubled in the last 3 years, and it's really because we understand that there are various pathways to a 4-year degree. And so starting at a community colleges and finish at Elizabeth City State University is a great kind of transition. One of the things we do is we make sure that we have advisors just who advise transfer students initially to help them through their transition. It's kind of a one-stop shop. Transfer students know where to go. And even this semester, we have articulation agreements with Pitt Community College in business administration and social work. But last year, one of the new programs that we brought faculty from Elizabeth City State University to Pitt, particularly in graphic design. And so they met with students in the class. And so we've seen a huge increase in our enrollment, particularly from Pitt Community College students in graphic design, transferring into ECSU. And they're already acclimated. Even this semester, they were on different internships and projects that we were working on face to face with their mask, socially distanced, but still really a part of the university as soon as they actually entered.
Now, you guys, as we talk to you guys about that correlation, but there's still a lot of other things that are going on down there. And one, if you could give us just a couple of minutes on that great aviation program that you have down there and what's going on with that. And every time I say that, no matter who I'm talking to from Elizabeth City State, I get to count all your teeth.
That's every single one. Every single one. And that is because we are the only 4-year aviation degree science program in the state of North Carolina. And it's something that we are extremely proud of. We have great programs, but we are clear that Aviation Science is our signature program. The enrollment on that is up 30% this semester. We have a fleet of 12 planes, and I think we're about to purchase 2 more to make sure that we can meet the demand. And although flight education is one of the concentrations in that track, several students want to fly, they can get their private pilot license and go on even to fly for airlines. We also have other concentrations in that aviation science program. We have avionics, as well as aviation management, because the demand for people to actually manage these airports. There will be an other side of the pandemic, and travel will return to what it was. And so we just making sure we can do everything to meet that demand.
And there's something there about the drone program or something that you have also that I'm hearing about?
That is right. We also have a degree in unmanned aircraft systems, better known as drones. And so this is one of the first degree programs of this kind in the state of North Carolina. And that is a very popular program. And there are so many applications of drones. Of course, it's a recreation, but from everything from sustainability studies, farming, to actually dig into the ground to see how far down the crops are actually growing. There are just so many applications of drones, and we do have that degree.
Now, and as we talk about all these great programs, I do know one of your other programs, since I've been a part of the college forever and being an alumnus from there, your education programs as far as training teachers, that's still a big program down there.
Still, it's the foundation of what Elizabeth City State University is, our educational program. And so we continue to, again, prepare elementary education teachers in particularly to get those initial license. And so one of the other programs that, I always like to tout as well is our online master's in elementary education. It's a program that literally grew from 3 students to over 50 students in 1 year. And it's because it's online, and there are 2 concentrations. For current teachers who want to get an advanced license, there's a track for that. Or for anyone who already has a degree and they want to be an elementary school teacher, they can get that initial certification and a master's degree at the same time by enrolling 100% online in the Masters of Elementary Education.
Mm-hmm. Now, one of the things that I definitely want, I guess, what I'm trying to get people to understand and see is, when people have choices, and choices are becoming somewhat limited when you're limited, and when you don't know, that even limits your opportunities more when you're not sure of something. And I've noticed that students were able to kind of stay on campus at Elizabeth City State. I've seen some colleges closing and things of that nature. So I guess I'm trying to open up to the community, let people know, since we have these articulation agreements with you guys, with our collaboration, on what is it that you're doing down at Elizabeth City State that would make me feel comfortable in leaving somewhere like Pitt Community College, and I'm choosing to go down there and actually stay on campus. What are you guys doing to make us feel so good? I'll make the students feel good, and you've so far had such a successful semester at it. We want to know what you're doing.
Yeah, again, we recognize that there's a pandemic, but we also recognize that students need to be educated and they desire to live on campus, which is one of the reasons we decided to open the residence halls. We have protocols in place. The masks are required inside all of the buildings, and students have really been receptive. We provide masks for students. We provide hand sanitizers. We have signs everywhere. We also realized and made a conscious effort that we still have to give students activities. They don't just want a place to live off campus. And so student affairs, we have grab and go, we have virtual events, and students have really kind of enjoyed themselves. It's not exactly like it used to be, and we recognize we'll get back, but we have made the efforts. We realize that some people may have may need to be quarantined. We have a testing protocol. We do surveillance testing. So even if you don't have kind of symptoms, we do random testing to just see if there's anything going on. And we've been able to keep our numbers extremely low, and we're successful to get through the semester.
Well, that sounds great, and I understand what you're saying because we've had to do a lot of things up here too. But I know it's crucial when to parents and students who are trying to choose where to go, and parents wanting their kids to be safe, because it's hard to send them away right now, in this. But to have a successful program like that, people need to kind of know what's going on and what's making it successful, and that it is still happening. So you guys are gearing up for the spring semester. How's that looking for you?
Yeah, so we are gearing up spring semester. We did make a decision already to start the semester 1 week late. We were initially scheduled to start on January 12th. We pushed it back to January 19th. We also have a requirement now that students who are coming, they have to be tested either within 3 days. If for some reason they can't access a test, like I said, we do have a testing protocol on campus. And so we will test students before they actually come to campus. And so we are ready. We believe we learned a lot of lessons during the fall semester. And so we are ready to gear up to have another successful spring semester.
And as a person that kind of keep their eye on things that are going on down there, you guys seem to, the support looks like it's overwhelming down there. Well, not overwhelming because you can always use support. So
that's right.
I use that right in a second. But it looks like you're kind of getting a lot of. I would see a lot of grants and funds and stuff that are going down to Elizabeth City State for that cause, and to for the school to continue to do great things down there. And I think there's some ranking and stuff that's out there on the school. Could you kind of just give us a little bit about that, a minute or so on how Elizabeth is doing this, and this stuff, just great things just keep happening?
Absolutely. I have to thank our faculty and staff. They are committed to receiving external funding. We have been so successful, and I credit them with getting funding to really support our students. I'll tell you what's behind all of this is our new strategic plan, which is called Forging Our Future 2020-2025, that really sets in motion what we want to do. And our main thing at the crust of that is to make sure that our students are getting the experiences they need, so that when they graduate from ECSU, they don't only have a 4-year degree, but they have the skill sets and the knowledge so that they can actually be employed once. And so that's really everything we do is centered around that, from grants, from the training. That's really our focus. And so from that, when you're doing things like that, I think that luckily some of the funding is coming, and we're very appreciative of that.
Well, we certainly want to thank you for taking the time out to come and talk with us today. I could talk to you all day about Elizabeth State University, so keep the smile that you have on talking about the college, and keep up the great things that are going on down there, and come back and see us again real soon.
Absolutely, anytime. Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you so much, and go Viking pride.
Viking pride.
We will talk with you later. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Farrah Ward. My guest is Dr. Farrah Ward, Provost at Elizabeth City State University. We just want to thank her for being on the show today. We want to thank you for listening and I'll pass on the word on the great things that are going on in Pitt Community College, Elizabeth City State University, the articulation agreement, the partnership, and for whatever you do, thank you for listening. We'll see you next week with a brand new show.